£3,000.
which is 4,000 US dollars for an interview on the Misfits platform. I think it's stupid, first off, that wants to dip the toes back into the waters because of how disastrous his events were run. Salt Papi versus King Kenny. It's something that the fans have wanted to see for so long.
I'm ready for it. I'm excited. Let's bring on the heat. It's going to be a war. One of us is going to get knocked out.
Hello and welcome back to Misfits News. I'm your host, Ben the Bane Davis, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, BL. Today, we're diving deeper into the supercar, Misfits 19. But before we get into that, BL, how are you?
And I'm good. And after interviewing Daley the other day, I tell you something, this supercard is sounding stacked. But first off, I want to give you a rundown of today's episode. Amir Khan pulls out KSI, the return of Adin Ross's boxing events, and we have Super Salt Papi joining us talking about the supercard.
It only makes sense that the Filipino sensation is on that one. I can't wait to hear from him. But first, KSI versus Amir Khan. This is a fight, BL, that many people have spoken about, and finally we hear from Amir Khan himself. There was an interview on Easy Talk Sports when Amir Khan was asked about the KSI fight. He simply responded by saying,
KSI, I'll fuck KSI up, man.
BL, your thoughts on that little blurb from Amir Khan?
It's big words from someone that hasn't taken the fight yet, and it's a fight we've all wanted to see. It's been so anticipated, but from our perspective and what we've seen, the fight's been offered and he's not taking it. Whether it's a financial agreement or something clearly is not working behind the scenes.
I would offer this. The people that are suggesting, oh, well, if you'd fuck KSI up, why don't you just take the fight? It's Amir Khan. You know, we're not talking about some random guy. It does what he wants. You know, whatever is preventing Amir from signing that dotted line, I certainly am not going to question the man's accomplishments or say that, you know, you need to back up your talk and prove it, because he's one of the most stellar boxers, you know, in history. And so I don't think that's the correct angle, but I do agree, BL. Why is he not signing for the fight? Why is he not taking it? I simply don't know.
Absolutely. But there's a next logical fight, in my opinion, if this fight does not happen. For KSI, I think if we can't get him a Amir Khan, if we can't get him a Mayweather, if we can't get him a Conor McGregor, which would be a huge risk for his warm-up fight back, I definitely think, and I want your opinions on this, the winner of Gibbon Slim has to fight KSI.
Which I would completely agree with. First off, he's not fighting Conor for many, many years. McGregor has 2 fights left on his contract, both of which potentially occurring in 2025. But there's no chance that KSI and Conor is going to happen before, like, 2029. In my closest estimate. And if you recall, I was one of the few people that was consistently vocal of KSI versus Slim. I think it makes perfect sense. I do believe that JJ's biggest moments have come against some of these content creators, you know, his biggest finishes, right? Guys like FaZe Temper. So I don't know. I think it makes sense to warm up back into boxing, get a tune-up, and Slim and Gibb, right? Winner? Makes sense to me.
There's a storyline there too. If Slim wins, he's been earning this fight through the ranks, and then he finally beats Gibb, which is one of the main contenders. However, if Gibb wins, that's someone who used to be in camp with KSI, used to have the same coach, they used to spar a lot. They know how each other work. Imagine the back and forth. They really know each other to that point. So I think there's a beautiful storyline for that fight to happen either way.
For sure, for sure. But lastly, on this topic, we do have a final point on Amir Khan because of that blurb when he said he'd fuck KSI up. BL, you and I actually reached out to Amir Khan's team. We wanted to bring him onto the official Misfits platform and discuss this fight further, get his thoughts. And what was his response to us?
I got a simple response of 3K question mark. £3,000.
Pounds, which is 4,000 US dollars for an interview on the Misfits platform. I want to add this. Ariel Helwani never paid for an interview. Certainly not 4,000 fucking US dollars. So I just got to say that's pretty ridiculous.
No, Mighty Mouse, no one on this
Mighty Mouse, Demetrius Johnson didn't. Luke Thomas didn't. We've had some pretty big guests on Misfits News. KSI didn't ask for $4,000. So Amir Khan, the first guy to ask for an astronomical figure, tells you, I think, everything you need to know about maybe what's preventing this fight from occurring. If it's going to cost him $4,000 to come do an interview, imagine what it's going to cost for him to actually, you know, lace up the gloves and fight.
Well, a name I didn't think I'd be bringing back onto Misfits News is Adin Ross. He has come out saying his relationship with Mams has improved massively, and he's now looking to bring back his boxing events. Ben, what do you make of that?
I think it's stupid. First off, that Adin Ross wants to dip the toes back into the waters because of how disastrous his events were run. And it was just disappointing to see a name as big as Adin Ross execute in such poor fashion, right? I think, if you have a platform of that magnitude and you want to do something as risky and dangerous as putting on live combat sports events, you need to treat it with a certain level of responsibility. So, I mean, if he wants to do this again, he needs to do it the right way, I would say, BL.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100% with everything you said. And I think doing it the right way, there's something interesting what you say there, because I think a collaboration with Misfits there could be really interesting. You have a lot of people like Dean, like Little Cray Cray, like these fighters that have come up from street fighting. Dean, again, is doing this street fighting live streams. And yes, it's dangerous, but if we were able to manage it in the right way, it could be a great way to raise some new Misfits fighters, find some great talent. I think there's something really interesting in that. And if we can tap into that, it'll be amazing. But realistically, are we going to see that?
I still disagree. I mean, even if Adin is taking some of the right steps, talking about a collaboration is significantly too soon. A guy that I think that Misfits maybe should look into collaborating with, it needs to prove himself first off, but look at Anthony Taylor and his Creative Fight League. I think CFL is doing a lot of the right stuff and matchmaking pretty fun fights, has some good prospects, and that's a breeding ground for future Misfits talent. And it's a guy who is doing things the right way, going through the commissions, having the necessary people on site, and running an actual live boxing event. That's not something Adin Ross has done. So yeah, like you said, Adin needs to prove himself that he can do this the right way. And then maybe after a couple successful events and we can see that, okay, he's actually changed and taken this seriously, maybe you can talk about having the kickoffs being sponsored by Adin Ross and some of his fighters. But I don't know. I mean, that's going to be a long ways away. We thought it only makes sense to have Super Salt Papi inside the Misfits news booth. Salt, it's great to be here with you, sir. How are you doing?
I'm good, Ben. How are you?
I'm fantastic, brother. Better now that we've got you here. And let's just kick it off with this big rumor that's going around. Salt Papi versus King Kenny. Break down the story here. You and King Kenny, it's something that the fans have wanted to see for so long. Is this the right time for you to get this fight going?
I mean, me and King Kenny, we started like boxing at the same show back in Showstar Boxing. So we kind of have like, the same amount of experience. And yeah, it's the right time. I'm ready for it. I'm excited. I have nothing against King Kenny. I like the guy. A fight is a fight,
His last fight was on your undercard. He fought Adam Brooks, and it looked like King Kenny has improved drastically.
Yeah, of course. He's been training hard, working on like new things. He looked kind of more aggressive on his last fight, and that's what I like. Let's bring on the heat. It's gonna be a war, and one of us is gonna get knocked out.
One thing is for sure, it's going to be a war, Salt Papi, but I want to stir the pot slightly. We had Daley Perales on our last episode, and he didn't believe that you're going to be Kenny's toughest opponent to date. What's your response to that?
I don't really care what Daley has to say. I'm just gonna do what I have to do on the fight, and yeah, with the aim of beating King Kenny and moving on.
Now, there was a slight question in that episode as well about your caliber of opponents. He said that Kenny's faced much harder opponents than you actually have faced. Do you think that's true? What's your opinion on that?
Like I said, I don't really care what Daley has to say. I feel like I have better opponents than King Kenny. And obviously, like styles makes fights. Me and King Kenny will have different style of fights. So we'll just see when the fight happens.
How do you rate King Kenny as an opponent, as a fighter? What do you make of his style and his journey?
I mean, yeah, he does have a very good job, but I feel like I can take that away because I'm a southpaw. And yeah, he's a very good fighter. I'm not gonna lie, but I think I can beat him.
I love it. Were there weaknesses that you saw when he fought Adam Brooks? Were there areas where you were like, if I was in there, I would have exploded on him?
I feel like with King Kenny, he lacks he doesn't like opponents that are quite aggressive. And I am the aggressive guy. I'm ready to fight. Like if he wants to box, I can box. If he wants to like brawl, I can brawl too.
Talking about aggression, I want to highlight your last opponent, Amadeusz Ferrari, who might be your most aggressive opponent. I mean, that guy came forward.
Actually, that wasn't my last fight. I had another.
Oh,
fight
I suppose you did have
of course.
I mean,
like
what was that? The three body shot knockdowns
ago,
you
yeah.
got? All right. Well, if we want to count that one, Salt,
Yeah.
I guess Ferrari wasn't your last fight, but let's call it 2 fights ago. What did you make of Amadeusz? Because that was a different challenge that you had to face, a different test that you had to answer that night at the Troxy.
Yeah, he was like very strong and very dirty. Like obviously as a beginner, like you don't know how to deal with a very experienced guy like that. He's like he did everything, headbutt me, and he opened my cut, and yeah, he did a lot of shit, trying to take me down. But yeah, he got tired. He overgot he overgas himself, and then yeah, I was gonna knock him out the fourth round.
Mans has multiple times been stating that you are on a revenge arc. You want to avenge all those losses you took. So I want to ask you, one of the losses was Anthony Taylor. What do you make of his recent performances? Obviously, his most notable one against Gabe Silva.
Yeah, Anthony Taylor has really improved a lot. And obviously he's been working hard. Yeah, knockout sell, and that's what he's been doing.
Absolutely. Now, knockout cell. I want to know something, Salt Papi. There was a spar between you both in London. Could you describe me what that spar was like? What actually happened between those closed doors?
I think I did very well, like in the spar Anthony Taylor. I think I won that. But like you know,
you won the rematch.
yeah, under the bright lights, like you don't know, like anything can happen. Yeah, I want to have the rematch, like you know, soon in the future with Anthony Taylor, and yeah, that will be a very nice. I will be more experienced. I'll be more ready.
When you shared the ring with him, obviously he had that hugging, clinching style still firmly at the top of his priority list, but his last 2 fights, he has changed up completely. You believe that's fully just, hey, he needs to market himself better, the organization wants knockouts, or is it just he couldn't do that to you?
No, like I said, like style makes fight. I have a different style compared to the other fighter he fought, and I'm quite strong. I was pushing him all around, and yeah, he won with a very good strategy, and yeah, he's a very good fighter.
When would you want the rematch? If you could maybe timeline out the second battle you have with Anthony Taylor and Misfits, when would it be?
Hopefully next year.
Hopefully next year. Okay, 2025. That might be when we
I
get it.
want to get that rematch. Yeah, I'm a very like you know more experienced now. I'm ready. And when I fought him, I was in the Philippines, and then I came back. I only trained for 1 month, but like I thought I could beat him. You know.
Hey, it's all about belief, man. You have to believe in yourself.
I thought I could like you know I was in the Philippines eating junk food, but I was like on the top back then, and then I came back. Yeah, I accepted the fight. I don't care. I'll beat this guy. I'll knock him out just like the rest. And yeah, I need to train harder.
Give me an update on FoxTheG. What has this young prodigy been up to?
FoxTheG, man, is very strong. He's gonna be one of the best. You'll see.
When
Future
are we
Misfits
expecting
champion.
FoxTheG, Misfits champion. I can't wait to see it. So when could we possibly see him return to the ring? Is there any inkling, maybe on the same card or on a latter date?
I'm not sure if I can like discuss it like in our here, but like he should tell you when he gets an interview.
We'll make sure to bring FoxTheG on for the next episode. So Papi, I want to ask you, you're having an incredible journey, the weight loss, everything you have done has been inspiring for so many. So I want to ask you, what's the ultimate goal for Super Salt Papi?
Just keep boxing, really. Stay in shape. That's what I like in the started boxing for. Just be healthier and be a better person, really.
Yeah, holistic life change, man. The physical and the mental. In terms of dream opponents, obviously Manny Pacquiao is probably up there at the top of the list. Maybe as someone that you'd love to get in there with.
I think Manny Pacquiao is a bit like you know he's quite old now. I don't think it's
not ready
good,
for that
like,
Super Salt Papi.
Fair. Okay.
Yeah, I'm quite
You're not
big
Jake
as well.
Paul. You're not Jake Paul.
I'm quite big as well. I'm quite heavy. Like we're not the same weight.
Fair. Who would be a dream opponent that is more maybe appropriate, would you say, to fight?
Obviously exhibition, like Roy Jones, like these guys, Amir Khan. I would be happy to box them. And yeah, any like professional fighters, man.
Oh, hold on a second.
I'll get there soon. Maybe Idris
Wait,
Virgo.
hold on. You won't,
one
yeah,
day.
Idris Virgo. Hold on, wait. So you won't box Pacquiao because he's too old, but you'll do an exhibition with Roy Jones.
But obviously, it's like you know, like I don't want to like be fighting another like guy from the Philippines.
Okay.
Okay. It's a respect.
Show respect to my to my hero as well.
For
sure. Roy
You don't want
Jones.
to ruin the legacy.
Yeah, I don't want to ruin the legacy. But Roy Jones, Amir Khan, I'll be happily to box.
I love it. I love it. Well, before we get you out of here, BL, any last questions for Super Salt Papi?
Super Salt Papi, it's a pleasure having you as always on here. I just want to give you the floor now to give any final words, any exclusives for the fans at home watching this interview right now.
For all the fans watching this video, tune in. Make sure to subscribe on Misfits Boxing.
You heard it here from the man first, Super Salt Papi. Salt, thank you for the time. We can't wait to see you soon. What an episode of Misfits News. I can't wait for the formalized announcement of some of these fights, but X Series 19 will be sure to blow your socks off. Make sure that you always tune into Misfits News. Like, subscribe. We bring you the latest, the greatest updates. As always, I've been your host, Ben the Bane Davis, joined by my co-host, BL, and we will see you guys in the next episode.